So I've been testing out these auto supports for a number of weeks now across a couple of different printers and resins, and I feel really confident saying that these are the most reliable automatic supports that I've ever tried. And I'm pretty sure I've tried all of them at this point. Tango, Lychee, Chitubox, Satellite, Hallett, Photon. There's a bunch out there, and not one of them has ever given me the confidence that my prints will be usable, let alone even successful. Until now, because with these automatic supports, it doesn't matter if I'm printing really small models with tiny, delicate features or big models with high peel forces, they just work every single time. They're easy to remove, and the prints are all turning out great. Now, they're not perfect, but they are reliable, which is the key word here. And we'll get into the downsides a bit later on, but for now, here's everything you need to know right up front to start enjoying these automatic supports yourself. You're going to download Blueprint Studio from the Hey Gears website, which is available for both Windows and Mac OS, link down below. Once you've installed it and opened it up, you'll be greeted by this page. You can register an account if you want, but you actually don't have to. I just use it in the offline mode. Just check this box, then click the Continue in Non-Login Mode button. Next, click on the New Project button up the top right, choose Reflex RS, then choose None, then General Purpose. Out of all the resins, choose PARP 10, and for the layer thickness, choose Standard 50 microns. We will circle back here in a moment to talk about these options and what they all mean. I've also come up with a way to very quickly test different configurations here within Blueprint, so you can figure out which one works best for you in a single print. But to finish up on this page, click on the Apply button. Now from here on out, it's a lot like every other slicer, so you can go ahead and drag your models into the scene. Next, you'll want to orient your models. Blueprint can do it automatically if you like. Just use the Orient tool at the top of the left toolbar here. For me, I prefer to do it manually using the Rotate tool. Also, if you want to hollow anything, now's the time. Blueprint does a really clean job of it. Just don't forget to add a few drain holes afterward. And now for the good stuff. Up the top, you'll want to click on the Support tab, then click on the Auto Support tool from the left toolbar, click on the Advanced Settings button to bring up some additional options, then change Contact Shape from Sphere to None. Now just click that big blue Generate button, and Blueprint Studio will quickly whip up some supports. And then to use these for any printer and resin, all you got to do is select all the models in the scene, Control A on Windows, and I have no idea on Mac, then come up to this button here at the top left, choose Export Selected Model As, choose multiple STL files, specify the folder, and that's it. Blueprint then populates that directory with all of those models as STL files with supports baked in. How good is that? So you can then bring those files into your slicer of choice, slice away, and enjoy. This is exactly how I've been using these supports, and they've been so incredibly reliable. It's just fantastic. Now, down the bottom right of Blueprint here, we can see our current configuration. And if you click on that, it then brings you back to this page where you can then change these options if you like. And changing them does affect the supports. So let's quickly go over these differences. And to make everyone's life easier, I'll show you how you can quickly test a bunch of these different profiles all at once in a single print to very quickly identify the best profile for you. But first, if you've already got what you wanted out of this video and you're now on your way out, do me a big favor, would you, and click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out a lot here in my journey to 100k subs and keeping this channel sustainable. And if you have any horror stories to share about auto supports from other slicers, please let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. For this July, and this July only, year of our golden shiny boy, 2025. The once in a six-side community members will be enjoying this incredible collection of 3D printable models and miniatures, each of which has been very kindly donated by the most generous and talented Apply Scale, Arcane Whiskers, Artificers Mini, Daka Store, Dollar Crochet Studios, Goetia Miniatures, Houndhammer, Imp 3D Sion, Kai Tech, Skulltown Minis, Warscaped, and Voltage 3D. If you come sign up before this month is through, you too can enjoy all these fine rewards. So hurry! Time is a-ticking, but if you're too late, do not worry, because there's also the Welcome Pack, which is just absolutely brimming with models, most wonderful and splendid, that is available year-round. You can become a member through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon or YouTube, whichever is easiest for you, and your support will help this channel and its little lords more than you can possibly know. And if you can, come have a look at Shardstone City by Warscape, which is live on Kickstarter right now. This is an amazing set of fast printing foldable ruins for your tabletop games. And these terrain pieces solve one of the biggest problems I have with gaming terrain, and that is, where the bloody hell do you even store it all? It takes up so much room. But not these ones. Simply fold them away when you're done, nice and neat and discreet, and they look just absolutely fantastic. Or perhaps you've been thinking about what army you're going to print next. Can I suggest Guardsmen? Because this Bloodbrothers collection by Houndhammer is insane. Look how cool these models are. They are just absolutely overflowing with character. And the kits are extremely flexible, so you can be as creative and custom as you want. You will have the coolest Guardsman army in town, no question. And you can find these on Cults 3D, links down below. Alright, so the configuration that we went over at the top of this video, I do recommend you just copy that exactly and start there. But if you're wanting to experiment to see if maybe you can get away with even finer supports, then here's what to do. For device, currently there are two options, Reflex and Reflex RS. Each printer has slightly different configurations available to it, and so far I've only tried the options available with RS. And I think there's actually enough variance within just RS that you probably won't ever have to even touch the other one, but it's there if you want to experiment. The add-on module is the first option here that does have a big effect on the supports. Specifically, if you do enable this pulsing release module, it reduces the support tip diameter by about 10 to 15%. So if you're looking to make the supports easier to remove and to cause less scarring on your models, this would be a good first option to try. However, it may reduce the overall reliability. For application, there is only general purpose, so just click on that. If you had picked the original Reflex, however, you would have some more options here. Next is the resin choice. And again here, this is where we're going to see some changes to our support settings depending what we choose. For finer support settings, you might try Pore 10 or even Pore 20. And if you need stronger supports, try Power 10. These bloody names, hey gears, what the hell? Then the last option on this page, layer thickness, has no effect on support settings at all that I could see. So just go with 50. And then finally, the contact shape advanced setting, which I've been switching from sphere to none. You might experiment with just keeping it as sphere. I know some people prefer spheres because they find them easier to sand down when post-processing. Now, rather than just choosing a configuration here randomly and hoping for the best, I've devised a simple test model here that has a few different features to benchmark the auto supports. You can print a number of these tests all at once in the same print to quickly work out exactly how each profile is going to behave for you. There's a sword on there, a bent bar with a tapered end, and a cylinder with a rounded end. There's also a broad, flat, protruding surface that will print parallel to the build plate. And that feature in particular serves as an extreme torture test to really try and push the supports to failure. I've made 8 in total, and they're all numbered so you can easily infer which profile corresponds to which part. So all you got to do is choose a configuration, bring a test model in, generate the supports, export it, and I recommend naming them with some shorthand like this so you can easily keep track of your results. Then just slice them all together on a single plate and print them off. And all you're looking for here are failed prints or disconnected tips. Looking at my results, some of them have failed completely, so I know right away that those profiles aren't any good for my setup. Some of them have partially succeeded, but the torture test has curled significantly where those tips just weren't strong enough to hold on. This model is actually a really nice demonstration of how crucial supports are to our resin printing experience. I think too often people get hung up on the settings when it's the supports that are truly key to how successful we are in resin printing. Anyway, is it just me or do these look like dolphins? No. Not this again. For my very best test results here, tests 1 and 2, you can hopefully see that even here, the torture test does have a few disconnected tips at the very end there and has curled ever so slightly. But that's going to be totally acceptable as test 1 is my tried and true PARP 10 profile, which I know is solid for anything that I throw at it at this point. And test 2 for me was super interesting because it looks just about identical to test 1, And the only difference with this profile is I have the pulse release module enabled. So this tells me that I could probably get away with that configuration if I was unhappy with the other one. You can find the 6 test models that I printed here linked down below for free, as well as the 8 blanks, which you can use to generate your own tests with whatever profiles you like. And the Blender file is in there too if you want that for whatever reason. So hopefully that makes it really easy for you to test and identify which profiles are going to work best. Just remember to run a vat clean afterward if you had any fails. Now, at the start of this video, I mentioned that these auto supports aren't perfect and they do have some downsides. This is true. At the end of the day, these are still automatic supports, and while they are extremely reliable, they're not without a couple of trade-offs. First of which is they tend to use a lot of resin. Blueprint Studio does not f around here. It does tend to generate a lot of supports to ensure that reliability, and so that does mean a lot of resin usage. I personally am very okay with this, as I will happily burn more resin for my supports if it means I get successful prints at the end of the day. If that's not you, then you may want to stick to manual support placement optimized for resin savings. The second thing I've noticed is that while these supports save you a tremendous amount of time up front, like just click a button and a few moments later you have a fully supported model, you now have to take more time during the support removal. Not the initial peel away, like that's almost always near effortless, I've found. It's just a breeze to pull these supports away from your model. But where they get you is the countless teeny tiny little supports still left on the model that are hiding away in every nook and cranny. These can take a while to spot and fish out, so just prepare to be spending a decent chunk of time poking around to get these all out for each print. Finally, you may also find that because of the sheer density of supports placed, that the support scarring can be a little aggressive in some areas, and so some light sanding may be required if you're very particular about that sort of thing. At the end of the day, a model that has been painstakingly supported manually by someone who knows what they're doing, who's optimizing their support placement to minimize scarring to the model while ensuring it still prints successfully, is always going to give you the better post-processing experience and final quality result. But man, if you just can't be asked learning how to do that, or you do know how to do it, but you just can't be bothered because of just how long it can take, then these automatic supports are just an absolute godsend, and I hope you can now enjoy them as much as I have been. Final word to any artists who sell 3D models for resin 3D printing: if you're going to use these automatic supports and sell them, you better disclose that really clearly prior to the sale that they are automatic supports. Because when you advertise your model as just pre-supported, the value proposition of that is the better post-processing experience and quality results that I just talked about that comes from manually supported models. Like, we are absolutely paying for that, so we would feel ripped off if we buy something sold as pre-supported only to find out it's automatic supports. If you are interested in getting the best results out of your resin 3D printers, I have a couple of videos all about manually supporting models. It's not hard to learn, it's just a very time-consuming thing to do, but the results are always the best, so I think it's worth knowing how to do for the models that really matter to you. I also have a video on print settings you should probably check out if you haven't yet. A lot of folks are scared of resin settings. Fucking English. A lot of folks get scared of resin settings, but there's no need to be intimidated. Resin settings are actually very simple. In fact, they're almost identical for every resin out there, bar 1 or 2, which are really easy to figure out anyway. So yeah, go watch that one, and thanks for watching. Oh, wait, no, hang on. Because I know someone will ask, the vat on the M5S Pro is the Hooplat by Chitubox. I've been trialing it out and it's absolutely amazing. 9.5 out of 10. Highly recommend. Affiliate link down below. Go upgrade your printer with Hooplat if you can. Seriously, it's a game changer for how fast and easy it is to swap out your release film. The only thing they could do to improve it would be to give it like a nice pour spout, like on this vat. Otherwise, insanely cool and innovative piece of resin printer tech right here. And also, for those wondering, this is a light gray tough resin by Ints Logic, but this one I'm going to suggest that you pass on. It's actually quite brittle, and it seems to respond strangely to alcohol. Like, you can see it's discolored in some areas after washing. Very strange.